The Carith Dominion had always been a mystery to humanity. Beautiful, powerful, and distant. For decades, humans heard only stories about the Dominion's advanced technology and strict traditions. But on this day, the first official meeting between humans and the Dominion was finally happening aboard the massive Imperial star cruiser Solstice. The Solstice was a ship so large that human visitors often felt like insects inside it. Its halls were made of glowing silver plates, its air smelled faintly of flowers, and its ceilings rose so high that sound echoed for several seconds. Human diplomats walked through the main corridor in a tight group, nervous but proud. They were accompanied by an honor guard of 5 Terran soldiers. Among those soldiers was Sergeant Adrian Holt. Adrian was not special, at least not in his own eyes. He had brown hair, calm gray eyes, and a strong, steady build like many trained soldiers. He was known for discipline, patience, and a habit of staying quiet unless he had something important to say. His teammates liked him, but no one considered him unusual. Today, however, everything about him was about to change. The meeting chamber was a grand hall shaped like a circle. Soft blue lights surrounded the edges, and the floor was polished so perfectly that Adrian could see his own reflection. At the far end stood the Dominion's ruling council, dressed in long, shimmering robes. In the center, on a raised platform, stood the throne of Queen Zalmera, ruler of the Carith Dominion. Everyone waited silently. When the doors opened, a wave of cold air moved into the room, followed by the soft ringing of ceremonial bells. Queen Zalmera entered with slow, graceful steps. Her presence instantly filled the hall. She was tall, with luminous purple skin and silver patterns running across her arms like natural tattoos. Her eyes glowed faintly like stars, and she wore a crown made of floating crystal shards. Humans had seen pictures of her, of course. She was famous across the galaxy for her intelligence and her sharp diplomatic skills. But seeing her in person was different. She carried herself like someone who had ruled for a very long time and expected to continue ruling for many more centuries. The diplomats bowed. The human soldiers stood at attention, Adrian among them. Queen Zalmera stopped walking. For a moment she did not speak. She did not move. Her eyes were fixed on Adrian Holt. The room grew tense as advisors whispered to each other, confused. But the Queen did not seem confused. She seemed stunned. Her bright eyes widened. Her breathing changed. Something in her expression cracked like a mask breaking. No one understood why. Adrian stood still, unsure what he had done wrong. His heart beat faster, but he kept his posture straight. Then the Queen whispered something in her own language. The room fell into deeper silence. She took a step forward. Her voice, usually strong and layered with authority, softened. "Impossible," she breathed. The diplomats looked back at Adrian. His fellow soldiers shifted uncomfortably. Adrian himself felt a strange pressure in his chest, as if someone had grabbed his ribs and squeezed. Queen Zalmera slowly approached him. She circled him once, studying his face, his eyes, his jawline, even the way he stood. "You," she whispered. "You look exactly like him." Adrian blinked. "Your Majesty," he said carefully. "With respect, like who?" "My former husband," she said, "Prince Valus." The room filled with shocked murmurs. Even Adrian's heartbeat skipped. Humans had learned about Carith royal customs before arriving. The Queen's former husband was a sensitive topic. He had disappeared decades ago without explanation. Some said he died in a political war. Others believed he ran away, but most records about him were sealed. And now the Queen claimed that Adrian, a completely normal human, looked exactly like the vanished prince? It made no sense. The Queen lifted her hand slightly, not touching him, but close. Her voice trembled in a way no one had ever heard from her. "You have his eyes," she said. And his face. Even the way you stand is the same. Adrian swallowed. He had no idea how to respond. Before the diplomats could ask questions, the Queen raised her hand sharply. Her voice returned to its usual commanding tone. "This meeting will be postponed," she announced. "I require a private audience with this soldier." Her advisors protested instantly. "Your Majesty, this breaks protocol. The human delegation might misunderstand. This is not safe." She silenced them with one look. Humans were confused but could not refuse. Denying the Queen might destroy the fragile relationship being built. Adrian's commander placed a hand on his shoulder. "Go with her," he whispered. "Stay calm. Answer politely." Adrian nodded, though anxiety tightened his stomach. 2 Dominion guards escorted him down a long hallway, leading to a quieter chamber deep inside the ship. It was smaller than the grand hall, with a round table and a large window showing endless stars. Queen Zalmera entered behind him and dismissed all guards. They were now alone. Adrian stood still. The Queen, however, paced slowly, her expression troubled. "You cannot be Vilas," she said finally. "Humans do not share our biology. A Carith and a human cannot look this similar. It is scientifically impossible." Adrian nodded. "Then perhaps it is simply a coincidence." She looked at him sharply. "I have lived for more than 200 years. I know the difference between coincidence and something unnatural." Her eyes narrowed, analyzing him deeper. "Tell me," she said, "do you have Carith ancestry?" "No, Your Majesty," Adrian answered honestly. "My family is fully human. My parents are from Terra Nova Colony. Both are alive and well." "Then explain this resemblance." "I cannot." She studied him again, her voice calmer but still heavy with emotion. "Prince Vilas was a brilliant man," she said. "Ambitious, stubborn, and willing to fight the old traditions. He disappeared when he tried to stop a secret faction inside the Dominion, one that wanted to begin a war with your species before humans even knew we existed." Adrian listened carefully. "He told me," she continued, "that if anything happened to him, the stars would reveal the truth through a sign that would come from beyond our borders." Her gaze sharpened on Adrian. "You might be that sign." Adrian felt a chill run down his spine. He had grown up believing he was an ordinary person, nothing more. But now an alien queen was suggesting he was connected to a prince who vanished before humans had ever officially met the Dominion. It was too strange to accept. "Your Majesty," he said slowly, "I am only a soldier. I do not know anything about your prince. I do not know why I resemble him, but I am willing to answer any questions you need." The Queen gave a small, sad smile. "You are honest," she said. "Vilas was never honest. He always hid things." Her eyes softened. "Perhaps that difference alone proves you are not him." She walked toward a glowing panel on the wall and pressed her hand against it. A small drawer slid open, containing a device shaped like a silver bracelet. "I must know the truth," she said. "This will scan your DNA." Adrian hesitated. "Will it hurt?" "No, but it may change your life." He nodded. The Queen placed the bracelet around his wrist. It tightened softly, glowing with pale blue light. Adrian felt a slight warmth spread through his arm, then nothing. The device beeped once. A holographic display appeared above it, showing streams of data. The Queen leaned forward to read it, then froze completely. Her face changed. Adrian had never seen such shock on anyone, human or alien. "What does it say?" he asked. Her voice came out quiet and breathless. "You carry Carith genetic markers." Adrian felt the world tilt slightly. "That's not possible. Humans don't have—" "Not just any markers," she interrupted. "These are royal markers, ancient, rare, only found in my bloodline, and Vilas's." Adrian stared, unable to speak. Queen Zalmera slowly looked up at him, her voice trembling again. "Who are you really? Adrian Holt?" Adrian could only answer with the truth. "I don't know." The Queen stepped back, conflicted and frightened. Someone had hidden something from both their species. Someone had created a link between a human soldier and a missing royal prince, and someone clearly did not want that truth discovered. The bracelet blinked one final message in glowing letters: anomaly detected, access restricted, danger level high. The Queen's expression hardened. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. The chamber stayed silent after the device's final warning. Adrian Holt kept his eyes on the holographic message glowing above his wrist. Queen Zalmera stood frozen, her face pale and unreadable. The small room suddenly felt too tight, as if the walls themselves were waiting for his next breath. Adrian slowly removed the bracelet. "This must be a mistake," he said. But the Queen shook her head, the motion sharp and certain. "Kareth genetic markers cannot exist in a human body. Not naturally, not by accident. Someone designed this." Adrian could feel his pulse racing. He had always believed he was an ordinary human. He had no strange abilities, no mysterious past, no unknown adoption story. And yet this alien queen looked at him as if he was the answer to a secret she had chased for decades. "Your Majesty," Adrian said carefully, "my parents are Terran. I grew up on Terra Nova. I have medical records, school records." "All of them can be manipulated," the Queen said quietly. "If a powerful faction wished to hide something, even your memories could be shaped." Adrian stiffened. "My memories feel real." "Feelings and facts do not always match," she replied. Before he could respond, the chamber door slid open. Commander Raylith, the Queen's advisor, entered with quick steps. "Your Majesty," he said urgently, "the Council is waiting outside. They demand an explanation for the halted meeting." The Queen straightened, regaining her regal composure. "Tell them I am verifying a matter of great importance." Raylith glanced at Adrian with suspicion. "Does the human pose a threat?" "No," the Queen said. "But he poses many questions." Raylith did not look convinced, but he bowed and left. Zalmera turned back to Adrian. Her tone softened slightly. "You did not ask for this. I know that. But what you carry, it may be connected to Velus's final mission." Adrian swallowed. "You said he tried to stop a secret faction, the Vierak Enclave?" The Queen nodded slowly. "The Enclave believed in domination. They wanted to cleanse the galaxy of species they considered inferior. They saw humans as a rapidly growing danger and planned to strike before you could become strong." "And Velus?" Adrian asked. "He disagreed," she said, her voice shadowed with old pain. "He wanted peace. He believed humans could become allies. The Enclave labeled him a traitor. He vanished while investigating them." Adrian frowned. "And now I show up with DNA similar to his decades later." "Yes," she murmured. "It cannot be coincidence." A thought came to Adrian's mind, one he didn't want to say. "Do you think he might still be alive?" The Queen's expression tightened. "I searched for him for years. Every trail ended in darkness. If he is alive, he does not want to be found." She stepped closer, her eyes studying Adrian again, curious, troubled, hopeful, afraid. "You said the bracelet changed my life," Adrian said quietly. "Is this what you meant?" "No," she whispered. "This is only the beginning." The next hours passed in a blur. The Queen summoned her medical researchers, but she allowed only her most trusted scientists to see the DNA scan. The human delegation was held in temporary quarters, confused and anxious. Adrian remained in a private observation room, watched over by Dominion guards. But the Queen herself stayed close. Every few hours, she entered the room to check on Adrian, ask questions, or speak about Valus, sometimes angrily, sometimes with a strange tenderness. Adrian listened, trying to connect the stories of a lost prince with the life he knew. By night cycle, the researchers finished their analysis. Their faces were pale. "Your Majesty," the chief scientist said, "the human's DNA contains royal markers. But they are not fully Karith. They are mixed." "Mixed how?" Adrian asked. "With human genetics," the scientist said. "Perfectly blended, seamless. This level of genetic engineering is far beyond our abilities." "So someone created me?" Adrian said. The scientist hesitated. "Not exactly. You were born human. Your DNA has no signs of artificial stitching. It appears natural." "But that's impossible," Adrian insisted. "Humans can't carry alien genes naturally." "We agree," the scientist said, "which means only one explanation remains. This was planned generations ago." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "A long-term design." Adrian felt his stomach twist. "You mean someone engineered one of my ancestors?" "Yes," the scientist said. "Long before you were born." The room fell silent. If what they were saying was true, then Adrian's bloodline had been manipulated long before he ever existed. Someone had planned for a human to carry Karith traits across generations, hidden, sleeping, until the perfect time came. And that time was now. The Queen dismissed the scientists and sat across from Adrian. Her gaze was softer than before, touched by something almost human. "Adrian Holt," she said quietly, "you may be carrying a message, a warning, or a key." "A key to what?" She took a deep breath, her chest rising slowly. "To the truth of what happened to Valus, and the Enclave's return." Adrian felt the weight of those words settle heavily on his shoulders. "What do you want me to do?" he asked. "There is a planet," she said. "A place forbidden to most of the Dominion. The ruins of Etherian Prime. That was the last place Valus was seen alive. If there are answers, they are there." "And you want me to go?" Adrian asked. "I must go as well," she said. "My advisors believe I am chasing ghosts. But now, I think Valus left something behind. Something only you can access." Adrian took a moment to breathe. "I'm just a soldier. I don't know anything about lost ruins or alien politics." "You are more than a soldier now," she said softly. "Whether you want to be or not." He looked away, uncertain. "What about the human delegation, the mission?" "I will handle the politics," she said firmly. "Humanity will not be punished for something they did not do." Adrian met her eyes. "You're certain I'm connected to Valus?" She nodded. "Your face, your DNA, your presence, even the way the ancient devices reacted to you." Her voice softened unexpectedly. "When I looked at you for the first time, it felt like seeing a ghost." Adrian didn't know what to say. She was a queen, powerful, respected, feared, even by her own council. Seeing her speak with such vulnerability felt strange and heavy. Before he could respond, alarms suddenly blared through the ship. Red lights flashed along the ceiling. The speakers echoed with emergency warnings. "Unidentified ships approaching! Shields activated! Potential Enclave signatures detected!" The Queen's expression changed instantly, grace turning into hardened command. "Adrian," she said, standing quickly, "come with me. Now." They rushed out of the room as guards surrounded them. The ship shook slightly, as if hit by a distant blast. The Queen's voice was calm but sharp. "Prepare the jump to Etherian Prime. We leave at once." A guard shouted, "Your Majesty, we cannot leave during a threat." "We can," she answered, "and we must. They are here for him." Adrian felt his heartbeat rise sharply. "Me? Why?" "Because Sergeant Holt," she said. "You are the only person in this galaxy who carries Vilus's legacy." The ship shook again, closer this time. Alarms screamed louder. "And the Enclave," she said grimly, "will do anything to stop you from unlocking it." Inside the command center, the stars outside were streaked with the glow of approaching ships. The Dominion fleet scrambled to defend themselves. The Queen took her place at the central platform. "Begin emergency warp protocol." A guard turned to Adrian. "Stay close. If the Enclave gets you, they could destroy both our civilizations." Adrian swallowed heavily. No pressure. The Queen faced him one last time before the jump. "When we reach Etherian Prime," she said, "old secrets will awaken. You must be ready." Adrian nodded, though every part of him trembled. The ship engines roared. Space itself bent around them, and the solstice vanished into hyperspace, carrying Adrian toward the ruins of a forgotten world, and the truth he never asked for. The star cruiser Solstice burst out of hyperspace near the silent world of Etherian Prime. The planet hung in the darkness like a broken jewel, gray, cracked, and surrounded by floating fragments of ancient structures. Massive rings of metal drifted around it, once part of a great city but now reduced to ruins. Adrian Holt stared through the observation window, a strange weight settling in his chest. Vilus was last seen here. Queen Zalmera stood beside him, her eyes fixed on the shattered world. Yes, whatever happened here destroyed an entire research colony, and Vilus vanished with it. Etherian Prime felt wrong. The silence was too heavy, the shadows too deep, as if something ancient watched from the cracks in the planet's surface. The Queen turned toward Adrian. "Be prepared. When we land, the ruins may react to you again." Adrian nodded, though nerves twisted in his stomach. The solstice descended slowly toward the planet. Dust clouds swirled around them, and broken towers jutted from the ground like the ribs of a giant skeleton. When the landing ramp lowered, cold wind rushed in, carrying the faint smell of metal and decay. A team of Dominion guards formed a protective ring around the Queen and Adrian as they stepped onto the surface. Human Marines, having arrived in a small escort shuttle that followed the solstice, joined them as well. "You brought Marines too?" the Queen asked. Adrian gave a small smile. "Humans are stubborn. They don't leave their people behind." The Queen didn't comment, but something in her expression softened. They moved deeper into the ruins, walking through long corridors carved into the stone. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the walls as Adrian passed them, reacting to his presence. Guards whispered nervously. "It's as if the ruins recognize him," one said. "It's impossible," another muttered. Adrian didn't like it either. Every time the symbols lit up, he felt a faint tug in the back of his mind, like a soft voice calling from far away. Finally, they reached a large circular chamber. At the center stood a massive archway made of dark metal. It pulsed with dim blue light, as if waiting. Queen Zalmera stepped forward. "This is the Etherian Gateway. It was Valus's last project before he vanished." Adrian stared at the archway. "What does it do?" "We never learned," she admitted. It refused to activate for anyone. The system remained locked. Valus was the only one who could access it. Adrian felt a cold shiver. "And now, you believe I can?" "Yes," she said. "Your arrival woke parts of this world that have slept for years." He took a deep breath and stepped closer. The archway brightened instantly. Adrian jumped back. "I didn't touch anything!" "You don't need to," the Queen said. "It is responding to your DNA." The ground trembled. The archway hummed. Ancient machines, silent for decades, began to move. A hologram flickered to life above the archway. Adrian's breath caught. It was the face of Prince Valus. He looked older than Adrian, but the resemblance was unmistakable. The same eyes, the same jawline, the same calm expression. Queen Zalmera froze. Her lips parted slightly, grief and shock mixing in her expression. The hologram spoke in a calm, deep voice. "To whoever carries my echo, thank you for coming." Adrian felt his chest tighten. "Echo," Zalmera whispered. "He planned this. He left a message for someone like you." The hologram continued. "If you are watching this, then I failed to stop the Virak Enclave. They are rising again. They will try to destroy the Dominion and humanity. I have encoded the only counter-strategy into the gateway, but only someone with my genetic pattern can awaken it." Adrian swallowed hard. "My pattern?" Velus's hologram nodded gently. "Yes, my heir, or my echo through another species." Zalmera's eyes widened. "He made sure your lineage would survive, even beyond our people." The hologram turned to Adrian. "Step through the gateway. The knowledge you need is inside. It will not harm you." Adrian's hands shook. "You want me to walk into that thing?" "It will show you what must be done," the hologram said, "and how to save both our worlds." The hologram flickered, then vanished. Adrian stood still for several seconds, trying to absorb everything. Finally, he looked at the Queen. "What if this kills me?" Her voice was quiet. "Then I will lose another person who carries Velus's light." Adrian took a breath. "Not helping, Your Majesty." For the first time, she actually smiled. "A poor attempt at comfort, perhaps." He exhaled, steadying himself. "I'll go." He stepped into the archway. The chamber filled with a blinding white light. Adrian found himself standing inside a large, glowing room made of pure energy. Floating shapes moved around him, symbols, memories, fragments of images. He saw battles between alien ships. He saw secret enclave bases. He saw Velus standing beside the gateway, recording messages. A calm voice filled the air. "You must guide the Alliance," it said. "Humans bring creativity. The Kareth brings strategy. Together you can stop the Enclave." Adrian felt information pouring into his mind. Not painful, but intense. Tactical patterns. Maps of enemy strongholds. Hidden communication routes. He memorized everything instinctively. The voice continued. "The Enclave will attack soon. You must act quickly." "What about Velus?" Adrian asked aloud. Silence. Then a final whisper. "Save them, Adrian Holt. Save her." The light faded. Adrian stumbled back out of the gateway. The Queen rushed forward and caught his arm before he fell. "What happened?" she demanded. "What did you see?" Adrian steadied himself. "I have the Enclave's plans. Their bases, their routes, everything Velus discovered." The Queen's eyes widened. "That information could save millions." Adrian nodded. "But the Enclave is coming, soon." Before she could respond, a Dominion guard burst into the chamber. "Your Majesty! The Enclave fleet has arrived in orbit!" The Queen straightened instantly. "All troops to battle positions! Prepare defensive shields!" She turned to Adrian. "You said you know their strategy?" He nodded. "Yes, and I know how to beat them." The Queen hesitated only a second, then spoke with absolute trust. "Then you will lead our joint forces." "Me?" Adrian blinked. "I'm just a sergeant." "Not anymore," she said. "You carry Velus's knowledge and humanity's spirit." The next hours were chaos. Dominion ships clashed with Enclave vessels in the sky above Etherian Prime. Human Marines and Dominion guards fought side by side across the surface. Explosions shook the planet as enemy strike teams landed. Adrian stayed at the command center, directing both fleets with a clarity that surprised even him. Tactical insights flashed in his mind, pieces of Velus's legacy mixing with his own human instincts. "Shift the left-wing fighters! Bring the human destroyers forward! Trap their cruiser between the canyons!" Commands flowed from him naturally, almost effortlessly. Queen Zalmera watched him with steady confidence. Finally, after hours of fierce fighting, the Enclave flagship attempted to retreat. Adrian saw the weakness instantly. "Now!" he shouted. "Focus fire on their engines!" The combined human-Kareth fleet launched a final coordinated strike. The Enclave flagship exploded in a burst of white-blue fire. The battle was over. Silence settled across the command center as exhausted soldiers cheered. Queen Zalmera approached Adrian, her expression soft and full of respect. "You saved us," she said. "No," Adrian replied. "We saved each other." She nodded slowly. "Yes. This was the first true alliance between our species." He gave a tired smile. "And hopefully not the last." The Queen stepped closer, her voice gentler. "Adrian Holt, you carry Valus's likeness, but you are not him. You are your own person, and you have changed the fate of 2 civilizations." Adrian looked out at the stars. "I didn't want to be a hero." "Heroes rarely do," she said. He laughed softly. "What now?" he asked. "Now," she said, "we rebuild. Together." A calm wind moved through the ruins of Etherian Prime. For the first time in decades, the planet felt alive again. Adrian Holt, once just a simple human guard, had become something more, a symbol of unity, courage, and hope. And across the galaxy, whispers would spread. Humanity. They don't just survive, they rise.